All right, hello. My name is Alfredo Silva. Okay, and today I'm going to be giving my presentation on the sheep brain. And yes, and before I begin, this is my sheet of paper. It has all the structures on it, so that way I can just keep track of what I'm showing you. But all right, let me go ahead and begin. So the dissection of the sheep brain. Now I'm going to show you all the pieces, right? So this is the brain, right? And I'm going to start off with the frontal lobes. So the frontal lobes are going to be at the top here. These are the frontal lobes at the top. And then down here, farther down the brain, you'll have the parietal lobes. And then way down here at the bottom, near the bottom of the brain, you'll have the occipital lobes. And then if you want to just look on the side, the temporal lobes will be on the sides of the brain. So that's what the temporal lobes will be. So that's the frontal, the parietal at the bottom, the occipital at the occipital, and then on the side, the temporal lobes. So those are all the lobes of the brain. And then to continue, we'll go on to the gyri, however you pronounce it. So the gyri are the ridges that actually form the brain. So like, you see like the little ridges, because you have the grooves, which are the black lines. They appear to be black lines. So those are the black lines, and then the ridges. The ridges of the gyri, right? Of the gyri. So the ridges, like I said, are the gyri, and then the black lines are going to be the sulcuses. So you see like how the brain has black lines running along it. Those are grooves called the sulcuses. So like I said, the ridges are the gyri, and then the black lines are the sulcuses. So whenever you see your brain, that's what you're seeing is other gyri and the sulcuses. So, and then we have the longitudinal fissure, which is going to be the line that goes down the brain, in the middle of the brain right there. So that's the longitudinal fissure or fissure, the line going down the brain like that. And then the lateral fissure, so that this piece fell off, but basically the line here that connects these two, that would be the lateral fissure. So the longitudinal fissure is the line going straight down the brain, and then the lateral fissure is going to be the line here that forms from these two pieces connecting. So that's the lateral fissure, is this line here that connects these, on the connection of those two. And then, so the corpus callosum, the corpus callosum is going to be the next layer of the brain. And if you can see kind of here, this like long line that's kind of going up to here, that's the corpus callosum. So this long line here that's going through the brain is the corpus callosum, right? And then behind the corpus callosum, in this space right here, you see kind of like the line, the space here by the corpus callosum. Right here, that's the thalamus. So you have the corpus callosum, and then you have the thalamus, and then the bottom of the thalamus here, around here, is going to be the hypothalamus. So you have the corpus callosum, then you have the thalamus behind it, and then you have the hypothalamus at the bottom. And then behind the thalamus, right around here, behind the thalamus, you'll have the midbrain. So you have the thalamus, the hypothalamus at the bottom, and then behind the thalamus, around here, you'll have the midbrain, right? So those are those pieces in the internal structure. And then the medulla oblongata is kind of, so let's imagine the brain and the both pieces together, and you've got down here this piece connecting. The medulla oblongata is going to be the piece that is like protruding from here. It's a little piece that protrudes from the bottom of the brain. So you have the medulla oblongata that will be protruding from the bottom of the brain, when the cerebellum connects, right? So and it'll go onto the cerebellum. But yeah, that's the medulla oblongata, and then now the white matter is going to be any parts of the brain that is white inside of it. So you have the gray matter, which is darker, but then you have the white matter, which are the white spots in the side of the brain, internally in the brain. And then the meninges, this is the membrane that surrounds the brain. I had cut it off to examine it, but like the meninges is the coating that surrounds the brain, the membrane that surrounds and protects the brain. And then finally, the cerebral cortex. So the cerebral cortex is the covering that covers the cerebral hemispheres of the brain. And basically the cerebral cortex is like all of this. This covers the cerebral hemispheres of the brain, and it's actually what folds into the gyri and the sulcuses. So the cerebral cortex covers the cerebral hemispheres of the brain, and it actually folds into the gyri and the sulcuses. So that's it.